All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar event, one of our last here for 2015. My name is Joshua, and I'm going to be your presenter today. I was the presenter for yesterday's webinar as well. We're here to talk about calculating a payroll adjustment in our Church Windows Payroll module. We're going to work for about the next 20 minutes. I think my PC time here is a little wrong. I think that's this PC is running a little slow, what have you. We're going to work until 11:20 Eastern Time here, so about the next 19 or 20 minutes. I'm going to finish what I'm going to discuss here. You can certainly, type in questions to me in the questions portion of the webinar. I do ask that we keep it topical, meaning, keep the questions to the, calculate adjustment topic at hand. I'm not prepared really to answer other questions here about that. My data may not support it, so I do ask that we kind of adhere to that. We always, of course, our support staff are available today, tomorrow, Thursday, and I think half of Friday, or I'm sorry, I forget what the days are. I'm getting confused here. Up until I think the afternoon of the 31st. Please give us a call if you have other questions. We're happy to help, of course. Again, type in questions to me, and we'll try to do my best to keep an eye on those, and then, repeat those for everybody's benefit, and then see what we can't do to get those answered for you. Hopefully I'll be thorough about this, and there won't be too many questions. Hopefully you'll get a good idea of what we're trying to do here. So let's go ahead and get started. Basically, simply, the calculate adjustment feature is a way of us being able to make a change to the data that is being reported in Church Windows Payroll where no funds are changing hands. Okay, we're simply making it for the purposes of correction or, moving figures around or reducing or changing them, what have you. And we're going to talk about a couple common uses for that adjustment feature. While adjustments can be done at any time of the year, I like to explain that, based on where we are in the year, we do respond to a lot of support calls at the, right around the change of year here, between the end of the old year and the beginning of a new year. That's when most of the adjustments that most Church Windows Payroll users will post those. Okay, we're getting ready to produce our W-2s for the previous year or for 2015, and we're realizing that there are mistakes or problems with those, and so the adjustments are very commonly done with oftentimes a December 31st date of any payroll year. Just surprisingly, and this may be something that you want to make a note of as well, we also do a number of adjustments on January 1 for folks who are wanting to enter vacation and sick time for their employees to start the new year too. So right around the cusp of the year is when, or the change of year, is when we see a lot of need or use for the calculate adjustment feature. As we go through this, again, so a very common one, we're just going to go through a couple basic ones here. So here we are in 2015. We don't even have our payroll 2016 installed here yet. We're going to our tax reports. We're going to our W-2 form. We're going to run this for our senior pastor. We're just going to leave it as the informative copy for now. We're going to click next, and once we get to the preview of the report, just one of the things that I'm pointing out here is this is a very common support call that we get where an adjustment is a good way, the only way really, to correct, say, a W-2. So here we are looking at our W-2 for our senior pastor, Larry, and here we're showing that we've got wages, tip, and compensation, and we've got our housing allowance, but those figures are wrong. Somewhere along the line, here we are at the end of the year, we've calculated the final pay. This housing allowance figure should show an even $10,000, and it's not. So we've set up something or changed something during the year that has changed that. It's not changing how much we owe him, or no money's changing hands. All we're doing is making a correction to the payroll data for the purposes of correction. Okay. One of the things that I definitely like to point out about this is when we do an adjustment like this, it is definitely making a change to our 941 form. Okay, so it is going to change our final figures on our fourth quarter 941 as well. Okay, so you do have to be aware that in many cases those adjustments will affect your other payroll documents. Okay, All right, so what we have to do is we have to increase housing by $1,290, and we have to decrease our Box 1 federal reported wages by the same amount. Also, I think if we scroll down here, we're going to find that our state wages, tips, compensation, etc. is also showing the same amount, and we're also going to reduce that by the $1,290 as well. Okay, so then now that we know, and I recommend oftentimes, that folks, when they do these calculate adjustment steps, is that they go and they print a copy of the W-2, the informative copy, before they calculate the adjustment to have something to compare it to. So you just print this to a plain sheet of paper. Then when we finish calculating our adjustment, then we can go back in and look at that and make sure that the document is now reporting the correct figures in comparison to what they were. I've even suggested that we go in and after printing it out, you just write in next to each box what you're needing to adjust the box amount by. So, put a minus in pen next to box 1 minus 1290, and then minus 1290 next to box 16 here, and then in housing, plus 1290. So I know exactly what I'm needing to adjust when I go in and walk through the calculate adjustment feature. I've been doing this a long time, folks, so I've gotten pretty good at finding effective ways to help you avoid mistakes for yourself. So hopefully that'll help you as well. So print this out. This isn't the document you're giving to them. This is for you and your internal use only. So once we have that, we've finished through the document. We go back to, you might want to make a backup of your payroll data under System Administration and backup, albeit we can avoid the adjustment, if we need to. But we're going to simply click on Payroll, and notice right down here below Calculate Payroll, we see the option called Calculate Adjustment. When we click on that, the very first thing that pops up is a warning that says, warning, a check will not be created when calculating an adjustment. To create a check, please select the Calculate Payroll menu item. So this is telling us already, we're not going to be able to produce a check using this Calculate Adjustment feature or process, okay? So we're going to click OK on that. We're going to enter our adjustment date as December 31st. We're going to click Next. We're going to click Specific Employee Contractor, clear all, choose our Senior Minister Larry's name, and click Next. Notice here, and this is one of the things I like to point out about the adjustment feature, notice everything under our adjustment is 0. Okay? It's not gathering any information from the employee file at all in terms of pay. The same is true for allowances or deductions. Everything is 0. Why? Is because this is waiting for us to enter what we're wanting to adjust. It doesn't know, so it's waiting for us to do that, okay, to tell it. So we're going to click on our Allowances tab, and we're going to type in 1290 positive, okay, because we're wanting to increase the amount that's currently reported in box 14. Then we click Next. We're going to click our Browse Adjustments, and here under Federal Gross Taxable, we're going to type in minus 1290, and under State Gross Taxable, do the same thing, negative 1290. Notice how I'm putting a minus sign in front of those. So here on our Browse Edit Calculated Adjustment screen, we see total allowances of 1200 positive. Down here, we're going to see negative 1290 positive here, and then 1290 negative here. Again, entering what we're wanting to adjust each one of those current reported figures by. When we're finished, we're going to click Apply. It leaves the 1290 increasing in allowances and the negative 1290 under our gross taxable for federal and state. And we're simply going to click OK through that now. And Next. Now again, we're not doing anything here that's affecting accounting, so we're going to uncheck our Transfer to Accounting box. All we're doing is correcting payroll, and click Finish. We're going to click OK when it says it's posted successfully. Now we're going to go back to our reports, tax reports, W-2 forms, reselect Larry again, And we now notice that our box 1 and box 15 are reduced by the 1290, and our housing is now increased and up to the 10,000 that should be reporting right here under housing. Okay, so the calculate adjustment feature has done exactly what we've asked it to do. Okay, I can use the calculate adjustment feature to adjust anything. You can adjust how much taxes were reduced, or paid to somebody, or how much was paid. Sometimes that does warrant occurring, meaning sometimes we'll need to go in and calculate an adjustment. We'll reimburse an employee directly from accounting for money that's owed to them for something. Maybe we had something withheld for taxes for a pastor that shouldn't have, or Social Security, or what have you. And we've reimbursed them through accounting, but we still need to make an adjustment to their payroll in order to make sure that that is correct. Okay, that's fine. We just can't misrepresent what we're doing here. Okay, we can't say we did something that we didn't really do. Like, oftentimes I get that on support calls. Well, I can't say I withheld taxes from somebody that I didn't really withhold. So frequently we have to use future pay periods to deal with that. So there are some times when adjustments won't help us. If you have questions about it, please call us, 1-800-533-5227. Our support technicians, myself included, are happy to help. Okay? Adjustment feature is a quick and easy way to be able to make a correction to the payroll module, so long as we don't need to produce a check from payroll for that employee. Okay? Again, as I'd indicated before, another common use of our adjustment feature is to enter vacation and sick time that an employee is entitled to take, right at the very beginning of the next year. It's not an accumulating or an earned value throughout the year. In some cases it is, but in the cases of many churches, it's not. We're basically saying, okay, the employee or employees are entitled to X number of days or hours or weeks to start the year. As soon as the year starts, they're eligible to take that earned time or that time if necessary. So we're just going to assume here that we've entered our 2016 payroll, run our end of year procedure. Okay. So here, what I always like to tell folks is, if you go to history report and we go to employee detail hours report, and again, we're going to do clear all and check just Larry's name. We notice right here under vacation earned and sick earned, we don't see anything for Larry. Okay, we don't have anything. So we're going to give him that now. We're going to get that set up. So we go again to payroll, calculate adjustment, Josh. So in this case, here's our warning again, no check will be created. However, we're going to backdate our date to January 1, and then we're just going to again pretend this is 16, not 15. We go to next. Again, everything under our calculate adjustment screen is going to be 0 because it's waiting for us to enter whatever it is we're needing to adjust. So we're going to go right to next again, and we're going to go to browse adjustments. And on our browse edit calculated adjustments screen, we want to point out we do have our accumulating values tab right down here. Let me draw an arrow here. Let's see how well I can do that. Oh, that's not bad. All right. So once we click on our accumulating values tab, we notice here we've got two fields called vacation and sick time. Okay. So normally, if this is an accumulating value, then certainly you can set that up as part of your employee file that they earn X number of hours or days with each successive paycheck they receive. Or we can use this calculate adjustment feature to enter a fixed number of days or hours or weeks or what have you to start the year. Okay? And one of the things I always like to point out is that it says accumulating hours. Okay? Technically, that can be virtually anything you want. Okay? It can be hours, it could be days, it can be anything you want. You can still assess a hourly rate for a salaried employee. Simply taking their per pay, gross pay, dividing it by the number of hours that we would normally expect them to be working in a week, and there's their hourly rate. But what we suggest is if you're doing this for multiple employees, that just for the ease of administration and maintenance on it, that you be consistent with whatever value you choose. Okay. The same way you can assess or determine a daily rate for a salaried employee the same way. Take the gross salary divided by the number of days that are in a pay period, and there's their daily rate. So that's what we're going to do here for Larry, is we're going to base this on number of days. So even if somebody says, okay, I'm taking a half a day of vacation, you can enter 0.5 as part of their, when you're calculating their pay, enter that half day rate, and the system knows, how much gross pay to pay them for that. So in this case, we're going to say, okay, that Larry, based on, is entitled to 2 weeks or 10 vacation days and 5 sick days at the start of 2016, or 15 in this case. So we simply click apply and OK. Next. Again, not transferring to accounting, nothing to transfer. Click finish. Click OK on the posted to employee file successfully. Now we go back to our reports, our history report, employee detail hours report. We run it for Larry again. And we notice here now, let me try to zoom in here. And now we notice at the bottom of our vacation and sick time columns here that we do see earned 5 days of sick time and 10 days of vacation time. So that is, again, I could make that 80 hours. I could make that, 40 hours each if I wish. We just recommend that you're consistent, so you make it as easy on yourself to administer as absolutely possible on that. Okay. So again, our technicians, myself included, are happy to help with this calculate adjustment feature. Again, it's always about calculating the difference between what is currently being reported and what we want to report. So whether that's a positive or a negative amount or value, payroll, certainly using the adjustment feature, allows us to do that. Okay. Also, folks, we will eventually make a recording of this available online, this particular presentation, but just an FYI, we already have one out on our Church Windows website. If we go back to churchwindows.com and we go down to support blog and we type in our search adjustment, we notice right here, payroll calculate adjustment that was written or recorded on May 12th of this year. Actually, this is a PDF document, so this actually details or walks through the actual steps in a printed format to how to use this calculate adjustment feature. So we have lots and lots of information available about calculating adjustment. I'm wondering if we don't think we have one in here for a movie already. I thought we did. Maybe we don't, but we will eventually have this one out there. I just can't promise you when. Hopefully sooner than later. Maybe we've got an older one out there. Calculating an adjustment. If you just go down through the blog page here, limiting it to the payroll, we might find one that there might be something from a prior year. It's essentially the same exact thing. Nothing's changed with regards to that. Anyway, all right, folks, we got about another minute here. I'm done with what I'm talking about. We hope this has been helpful. If you have to leave, by all means, choose the exit leave webinar option. Thank you so much for attending. We hope it's been helpful. If you have questions, please type those into the questions portion for me. I'll do my best to get to those and as best I can. Thank you. All right, it looks like folks are diving out pretty quickly. I'm not sure. I want to give some folks a few minutes to type in a question there. All right, well, I'm not seeing anything coming in. I mean, I know sometimes those questions can be pretty detailed and they do take a little bit of time to enter, but I'm not seeing anything coming in, and it looks like folks are kind of going out pretty quickly here. Thank you, Karen. You too. We'll see you next year. All right, folks, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar for everyone. We hope it's been helpful, and we'll look forward to hearing from you through Church Windows support if you do have any other questions or problems. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everybody. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.